What's good, guys? In today's video, you're gonna learn how to build a similar site to eBay, basically an auction marketplace. So this video is gonna be useful for those who want to perhaps build their own auction marketplace. They're interested to learn how to build one, how do they work, or you're just looking to further your no-code skills. We're going to be using a great tool called FlutterFlow today, which is an awesome tool that you can build just about anything with it. So definitely watch the video until the end. And also, if you are interested in viewing and or cloning this video, you can do so from my Patreon page. On my Patreon page, you can find all the previous apps that I've built where you can view them, you can clone them, you can make them to do what you want, you can customize them, you can pretty much do anything that you want. So enjoy the video and definitely do let me know what you think and if you have any questions. What's good, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can go out and build your own eBay or a similar auction site, and we're going to be using a no-code tool called FlutterFlow. And this video is going to be helpful for those who want to go out and build their own eBay, build their own auction site, maybe for a specific niche, or they want to learn more about how to build any kind of app using no-code tools, or they're just curious how hard or easy it is to duplicate the functionality of eBay. So what is eBay? eBay is a worldwide marketplace, and it works by bidding. Sure, there are some products that you can buy that have like a fixed price, but eBay rose to prominence because you can bid on different products. So for instance, here I'm on eBay, and let's say I want to buy this specific product. This is the Elgato Camlink. Very, very nice product. And as you can see, there's a bid right here. Okay, so I can bid higher. And if I bid the highest, if I'm the highest bidder of all the other bidders here, I will win this specific product after 2 days and 2 hours. Okay, so this is the architecture that we are going after. Okay, we're gonna have a login, we're gonna have a register, right? This is pretty much the same screen. We're gonna have a home page. On the home page, we are gonna be seeing a list of products. Okay, you can click on a specific item and you will be redirected to a detail view. Okay, so detail view, just like this view here, this is a detail view about this specific product. And on the detail view, you will be able to bid for that product. If you're interested in that product, you will be able to bid. We also are going to have a profile page. And if time allows, I want to also build out kind of a page functionality where a user who is logged in will be able to see different products that they're either bidding on, they're watching, they won, they need to pay, delivery, stuff like that. So we will see if time allows, we can build out a page like this. Now, the heart of this app is the algorithm, is the bidding algorithm. I have here a diagram, but let me go out, let me show you kind of in layman's terms how it works. So you see a bid here, it's $50. Somebody else bid before us, but we do not know if their max bid is 50 or their max bid is 500. We do not know what they put. Now let's say, for instance, this person here, this highest bidder, their max bid is not 50, but it's 60. Okay, so if I put 55, it's not going to be enough, right? My bid is going to go up to 55, but it's not enough. And what eBay is going to do, it's going to automatically raise their bid just a little bit to beat me, but still to be lower than their max bid. Okay, this is called automatic bidding. On the other hand, let's say their max bid is 60 and I put 100. And what eBay is going to do, it's going to put my bid as something like 60 something, just a little bit more than 60, just so it beats their top bid, their max bid. But it's not going to bid my whole bid. That way, I can put a very, very high bid or relatively high bid, but I won't need to pay that money if I don't need, I don't need that much to win it over, if that makes any sense. Well, let me show you how I have it here in the diagram. We have this automatic bidding. We have a condition. Basically, every time we bid, every time the user bids, we compare is the max bid still higher or equal to the bid? If that's still the case, meaning that the user did not go above the max bid, we simply raise their bid to that of, to make it a little bit higher of what the bid was, right? We auto bid the highest bid and we print the outbid message. On the other hand, if we bid and it actually, as case would have it, it's actually higher than the previous users, the previous bidder's max bid, then what we're going to do is we're going to set the bid, the new bid, just a little bit higher than that max bid. And that little bit is called an increment, and I'm going to show you that in a second. And that way, we just beat them out, but we're not gonna, we're not gonna have our max bid displayed or listed or anything like that. It's just enough to beat them out. And the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add all the bids to the bid table for that specific item. And the reason we want to do it is it's kind of like a history, right? So if you click here, you're gonna see like a history of different bids that people were making. So this is a nice touch. This is kind of an optional step. This is a nice touch. This is really the key here, right? All the apps, they have like, the heart of the algorithm. That is kind of what you have to get right. Let me show you the entities we have. First, we have the users. Okay, and this is going to be our logged in users. This is going to be authentication, stuff like that. So we have name, email, display name. And I also added a bunch of arrays, and these are arrays of listing references. So if the user is bidding on 5 items, this array is going to have 5 references to a bunch of listings. If the user has been outbid, right, so if they're bidding here, they got outbidded, we're going to remove it from here and we're going to put it here, okay? If they won, we're going to move it from here to here, okay? And as a result, this user, this is their state, right? So they could be watching 5 items, they could be bidding on 10 items, they were outbid on 3, they won, 7, and they purchased all of them, 10 or something like that. Okay, this is all self-explanatory. Next, we have the listings, okay? These are the listings that we're going to be displaying on this page, and this is the detail view here. And so on the listings, we have the name of the listing, the image, the user ID, the person who is selling it, right? The seller, the start date, the end date, the current bid, the minimum bid, which is the current bid plus the increment, which I'm going to show you in a second. And then we have the max bid, and this is secret. This is never displayed. It's only going to be used for comparison whenever somebody bids higher than this max bid. In that case, we are going to be comparing it. But this is never listed, never displayed. And we also have the history of the bids for this specific listing. This is a collection or a sub-collection. And this is what the sub-collection looks like. This is the bid amount, the timestamp, and the user ID who is making the bid. Now, the other item that I missed here is actually we also need the person who has the highest bid. So this is going to be max bid user ID, okay? And the reason we want that is we want to know who is the highest bidder, because maybe we want to display on the front page, you're the highest bidder. It's a good thing to track, right? We don't really care about the second highest bidder or the third highest bidder because we have this history table, but we want this user ID. We want to know who is the highest bidder. That's important information, okay? So that's our basic structure here. That is kind of what we're going for. Remember, the most important thing is this thing right here. This is kind of what makes eBay like a multi-billion-dollar company and whatnot. Okay, so now that we covered all of this, let me show you a database. So I already went ahead and I created a database in Google's Firestore, which is part of Firebase. So this is Firebase Firestore database. And so we have users. We have 3 users here. This is actually my account here. And we have those arrays here as well. And then we have the listings. So I have here 3 products, right? I have one product. I just called it product 1. I have another product, product 2, and product 3. And they have their bids. And they have various information. So for product 1, we have current bid 10, max bid 10.5, min bid 10.5. So you can kind of ignore all of this because the app is going to automatically kind of calculate as we go along. We also have start date and end date for tracking. And different products, they have different information. So for instance, this one right here, product 2, current bid is 1, max bid is equal to the minimum bid, okay? 1.5, 1.5. And that's all going to be recalculated as we are building the app, all right? So now that we kind of talked about the backend, let's go ahead and start building the app. So I went ahead and created a brand new app here where we're going to be building this app, but I also did something else. I went to Firestore and actually created the schema here. Okay, this is the exact replica of what we have here, because having this data here is not enough. You also got to go out and create the schema here. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that I did all this manually in the previous video, but today I wanted just to save you time. So we have the users here, we have the listings, and we have the bids, which is a sub-collection for the listing. So nothing crazy, nothing insane here, simply a schema of the existing database that we have here, all right? So our app is ready for us to go out and build it. So let's go into our pages and let's create a homepage. Okay, so we're gonna say new, and we're gonna say homepage. Homepage is what? Is gonna be a list, right? So let's scroll down and let's find the list. So I saw this one before. This looks like perfect, right? It's kind of an e-commerce store view. So we're gonna be using this. So now we have a homepage, okay? The next thing is let's create a detail page as well. So this is going to be called a detail page. And this is going to be content. Okay, so what is a good detail page? Let's see. There's lots of good detail pages. Let's just use this one. This is kind of what I always use. Let's use this detail page. Next, we need a profile page. Actually, we need a login page. Before that, let's go ahead and find a login page. So I'm just going to say login. We're going to go to auth. And the one that I use all the time is this one. Okay, you're free to use any one that you want. They all work the same pretty much. We're gonna say use my theme. We have the login. Let's go ahead and find a profile page. Profile is always good. We're gonna go to settings and let's see if we can find a profile. All right, well, how about this one? Or yeah, this one. Okay, so something very simple. We have the logout, we have the username. That way we can see who we are logged in as, okay? Now, it's very important once you have the profile page to have a nav bar, because otherwise you can't really get to it easily. So we're going to go ahead and create a nav bar. And this is not going to be a home page. I'm just going to try to find something related to a person. So how about this one? Okay. Now it's telling us nav bar requires at least 2 pages. So let's go ahead and create a home page. It's going to have a nav bar. We're going to enable nav bar on the home page. And for the home page, let's use a home icon. Okay, so how about this one? So we have the home page, we have the profile page. Detail page, we don't need that. We have the login page. Yeah, the login page is going to be automatic. I think that's good enough for now. We'll fix it up later. So let's go ahead and fix our errors, right? We have a lot of errors. And the reason we have a lot of errors is because we got this login page and it's using a lot of these things. So we gotta delete those. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click here and I'm gonna find let's see, we have a social row. So we're gonna delete that. And I'm gonna delete this. Delete that row just to kind of clean it up. And the same thing you wanna do in sign up, this tab here. Same thing, delete that, delete this. And now we have just 3 errors. We had like 14 errors. So now we can fix the other errors. So we have an auth page. Setup auth action requires authentication to be enabled for the project. So you can go in here, go to authentication, enable authentication. And now it's asking us for the entry page and the logged in page. So the entry page is going to be login. Logged in page is going to be the home page. Okay, so now we have 2 errors. Oh, no, we don't have any errors. Okay, perfect. So now that we don't have any errors, let's go in and start kind of messing with the app. Okay, so we got to go to home page, widget tree. And when you're using a template, you're going to have duplicates. So we have this list view, but we have a lot of these containers. What you guys want to do is, well, first, you can click on list view. Go in here, backend query, and you can do a query collection. Okay, we're going to say listings. We're going to say confirm. Okay, and now you want to delete the other containers. You want to leave the first one And you can delete this one. We don't really need it anymore. Okay. All right. So we don't have any containers. All we have is a list view on this container. And now you kind of want to display the proper elements here from the database. So you can click on this image, set from variable, listings document image. Let's go to this. This is going to be the name, set from variable name. This is going to be maybe the end date or something like that. Listing documents end date. And you can also format it if you want. So maybe something like, yes, this looks cool. And we have the bid. So this is going to be the current bid, okay? So we're going to come in here, listings, and we're going to say current bid, okay? And we can also format it, probably a good idea. Let's do a decimal, and let's do displays currency, okay? Decimal type, automatic, displays currency. And so this right here is going to display the listings, the stuff. So we have 3 products. It's going to display 3 products. Everything looks good. So let's run this app and let's make sure that it works. Okay, you wanna constantly test. You don't want to just test at the end. You want to constantly test. All right. So here's our app, and these are our products. Okay, we have product 1, product 2, product 3. They all end what it seems to be on the same date, and these are the current bids here. Okay. So this is nice. This is working. Let's go ahead and create a detail page real quick. We're going to come in here, go to our detail page, and let's configure this page. The first thing you want to do is you want to configure this back button, okay? Because there's no way to go back once you're on the detail page. So we're going to come in here. We're not going to do navigate back. I just want to do navigate to the home page, and we're going to say instant, okay? This might be the name of the product, but before we can do that, we need to pass the actual variable, the parameter of the product. So let's go in here. We're going to define a parameter for this page, and this is going to be called listing ref, which is the reference, and this is going to be a document reference, collection type listings, confirm. And now it's expecting a parameter, okay? It's expecting a parameter. So if you come to home page, widget tree, we're going to go to the container and we're going to make it all clickable. Come in here, add an action. We're going to say navigate to and detail page, pass parameters, and we're going to be passing this listing document and has a reference, okay? So now the page knows the reference of the listing, and now we can go to the page, detail page, and now we can kind of work with it. So this could be the name of the product. And before we can get the actual data on the page, remember, we have just the reference. We need everything else. So for that, I recommend going to the top, all the way to the top of the page, then coming here, back in query, document from reference, and we're going to get a listing reference, and we're going to get the parameter here, confirm. And now all the data, the whole element, the whole structure is going to be available on pretty much everywhere on this page. So if you click on class detail, set from variable, we have a listing document. We're going to say name. This is going to be an image. We're going to say network, set from variable, image. This is also going to be name. This is going to be end date. Okay, so this might be end date. Let's come in here, end date. Okay, we can actually format it. There's some nice formatting here, timestamp format. Let's do something like that. Or you can even do the time as well, which is useful, right? Because day is not good enough. We need to know the time that it ends as well. We're gonna delete all this. So I'm gonna find the top friends row, delete that. We're gonna delete this as well, this categories as well. We have here a bio. I'm going to leave the bio because this is a good field to have, right? You want a little bit of a description from the product. But here's where we are going to actually start building the bidding UI, okay? So this is a button. It's all in itself, okay? We're going to wrap it inside a row, right? Widget, row. And we are going to add an input field, right? So if you type text, you're going to see a form element called text field. Drag it above, and now this is going to be our bid, okay? So let's make this button a little bit smaller, 150 maybe. Yeah, that looks good. And we're going to say bid. Okay, looks good. The other thing I want to do is, before I finish working on this, let's display the current bid. Okay, we want to display the current bid and the minimum bid. Okay, this is important. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this row. And right here, I'm going to delete this button. And I'm going to have a text field. Actually, I'm going to have a text. And I'm going to delete this text field. And I'm going to have another text. Okay, two texts side by side. We're going to center this row. Something like this. Let's make it a little bit bigger, these texts. They're too small. Let's do 18. Yeah, 18 is right. Looks good. So this is going to say current bid. So this is the bid that's sitting right now. Current bid. This is going to be set from variable, listing document. We're going to find our current bid. And let's format it. Formatting, decimal time automatic, display as currency. Okay, this is the current bid. Now, remember I told you that there's something called an increment. So if the current bid is 10, you cannot bid 10. You need to bid something higher. Okay, so let me show you how that works. This is eBay's documentation on automatic bidding. And if you scroll down, you have something called bid increments. So when someone else places a bid, we'll place a slightly higher bid on your behalf. The amount the bid increases is known as a bid increment. Bid increments are smaller when the bid price is low and larger in higher price brackets. Okay, so this is the increment. Okay, so if you are, the product has a current bid of $250, for instance, the next bid that you can bid is $255. Okay, because that is the increment. Okay, that is how automatic bidding works, and that is also how the next bid works. Okay, so same thing here, 5,000. The next bid is going to be 5,100. Okay, so for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm just going to make a bid increment $5. Okay, it's very, very trivial to create a function that's going to pick a big bid increment, but I'm just going to make it $5. So just to keep it very, very simple. All right, so now that you guys know this bid increment, let's go back into the app and let's create another row here. I'm going to duplicate this row, and this row is going to be next bid. Or minimum bid. I think that's the right one, or right term, minimum bid, because that's, the person needs to know how much they can bid, right? If they see the current bid, $50, they can't bid $50. So if you come back here, you see how it's $50, but it says enter US 51 or more, right? Because the increment is $1, right? So if you go in here, 50, 25 to 99.99 is $1. We're just going to put $5 just to keep things simple. It's kind of the middle ground, all right? So minimum bid, and the minimum bid, we have it as well. We're gonna come in here. This is the min bid. It's already nicely formatted. Perfect. So this is where they're gonna enter the bid, and I like to label my fields. I'm gonna say input bid. That way I know this is an input field. This is where they're gonna be bidding, and this is where all the action is gonna happen. They're gonna be notified if if the bid was successful, if it wasn't successful. This is where the bulk of the logic of the app needs to happen with this big button. So we have image name, we have when it ends, we have the current bid. Let's make it a little padding here in the bottom. Okay, that looks better. Current bid, minimum bid, etc., etc. So we have those data stored. We can go back to the app. We can refresh this session here, and hopefully it's going to start showing the details now correctly. All right, so here are products. Let's click on product 1. There we go, okay? So current bid, minimum bid, we had that saved. Actually, the increment, I believe I put 50 cents, not $5. So it's 50 cents because $5 would have been just too much for these values. I put it as 50 cents. We have this product here. We have one, current bid is 1, minimum bid 1.5. And this last product, 2.5. And I can bid anything starting from 2.5 and higher, right? I do not know the max bid. I can look it up, right? I can go in here. What is that? Product 3. The max bid is 10, but I do not know just looking at it here, right? Here, I do not know it. Let's go ahead and fix this hint text here. Let's go back and fix that up. So we can say, enter your bid. So that is kind of what we have here. Now it needs to bid, and depending on if we, bid higher than the max bid, it's going to be one logic. If it's lower, then it's going to be another logic, all right? So let's go ahead and build this kind of the logic here. We're going to choose this button. We're going to come here and we're going to open the flow editor, okay? The first thing that we need to do is we need to add the condition. So this is a condition right here. And the condition is, what is the condition? Well, if we go back here, the condition is max bid still greater or equal to the bid that we chose? So let me show you. We need to pick a condition here. We're going to say condition. This is our max bid going to be, right? So we're going to choose our max bid, listings, max bid. Okay, confirm. Equal to, we're going to say greater than or equal to. We're just testing for the max bid. All we care about is the max bid still the king. Is it basically still higher or equal to? Because if it is, then if that's true, then we've been outbid. We haven't bid high enough, okay? So what is the second value, right? Let's pick our second value. That is going to be the input. And we're going to go widget state input, okay? Now, if you try to confirm, you see it says current variable is not valid. And that is because input, right? If you come in here, if you go to widget state, input is actually a text field, whereas max bid is actually a double, right? So if you come in here and you edit, you see it says max bid. That is actually a double, right? Because we have it as a double, which it should be a double. All right, so what you guys need to do is you need to create a function, a very, very small function, that's going to convert this text into a double. And what is a double? A double is a number with a decimal. Like, it's not just like 5, it's 5.25, okay? 5 would be an integer or a number. 525 is a double, all right? So we need to come in here, we need to edit, and we need to say custom function, create a new custom function. We're going to say convert string to double, okay? What is it going to do? It's going to return a double. It's not a list, it's not nullable, and it's going to take a string. So we're just going to say string input, and it's a string data type. It's also not nullable. We're going to come in here, and this is where we need to write the actual function. And this is going to be the simplest function you're going to write in your life, because all you have to do is write this code, okay? So we have this string input, and that's it. That's all it's going to do, okay? Basically, it's parsing a string and returning it as a double. Or it's going to return 0 if it made a mistake. Basically, that string was messed up. It didn't have any numbers there. It's going to return a 0. Now, our input in the widget is actually returning the right double. Now we can actually compare. So you can hit save. And now we have a function. So the function needs input. And now this function, instead of passing the input directly here, we're going to pass input to the function. And that's going to convert it for us. So we're going to say from variable, widget state, input bid, okay? So now it's going to return a double. We can hit confirm, confirm, and now it's happy, okay? It's giving us an error because we still need this condition here. That's fine. But right now we have this right here. So what this means is that in layman's terms, is the max bid still the king? Is it still equal, or is it still greater or equal? Remember, we have to, in order to outbid, we have to bid higher. Bidding equal is not good enough. It has to be higher. So is the max bid still greater or equal than whatever we just typed, our current bid, the bid that we just made? If it is, then we've been outbid because there's still a max bid out there, okay? So the first thing we want to do is we want to display a message that says, sorry, you were outbid, okay? We're going to come in here. We're going to add an action. And let's see, what are we going to do? We're going to show a snack bar, okay? We're going to say specific value. Sorry, you have been outbid, because there's still that max bid somewhere and we haven't bid higher than it, okay? So that's kind of the message that we want. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to do auto bidding. And what that basically is think about it this way, is that the max bid is still greater or equal to the current bid, to the bid that was just entered. That means that the person who is winning the auction is still winning. So we need to raise their bid just to be a little bit higher than the bid that was just entered. Okay, so the way you want to do it is you're going to come in here, and you're going to add an action. And what we need to do, guys, is we're going to go to database, update document. This is the reference. and we need to update a couple of fields. The first field we need to update is the current bid. We're going to set the current bid to be a little bit higher than the bid that was just entered. It's our way of auto bidding. Basically, you know, the person who is still on top, who is still winning the auction, we are basically raising their bid automatically without having them do it if they were at the computer. So we have the current bid, but instead of setting it automatically to this widget that was entered to the input field, we are going to create a custom function that's going to do it for us. So we're going to say create a new function, and this is going to be called add value. And this function is going to be returning a double, okay? And it's going to take two arguments. You know, value 1, which is a double, and value 2, which is also a double. And it's going to add them up and return it, okay? No nullables, code here, and all it's going to do is say return value 1 plus value 2. We need to add some numbers around, okay? So we're going to hit save, and now we're going to pass. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass as the first argument. We are going to pass from variable, we're going to say our widget state input bid, and we're going to add a little bit extra. And what we're going to do is we're going to add, actually it's going to be specific value. We're going to add our increment. So we're using a fixed increment, right? In eBay, you have a lot of increments depending on the price. Just to simplify things, I'm just going to use 0.5, and we're going to say confirm, okay? Next, we need to update another field. We have current bid. That's a little bit higher than what was entered, but we also need to update the next bid, the minimum bid. This is going to be the next bid. The next bid, basically the minimum that you can bid next time, okay? And that's also going to be from variable. We're also going to use this function, add value, and the first value is going to be the same thing, widget state, input bid, and except this time we're going to add 1. Basically, the increment times 2, because the next bid needs to be higher than the current bid. If the current bid is like 50, then it needs to be a little bit higher, the next bid. We're going to say confirm, okay? So now we are good, right? Now we're going to show them the message, and we updated, we auto bidded the highest bidder. We're doing the work for them. Now let's work on the other condition here. We're going to show the snack bar. So let's copy this, copy our action, comment here, paste action. We're going to say, congrats, you are the highest bidder, okay? And here, what are we going to be doing, guys? Well, we need to update a bunch of variables this time. We're going to say plus, add an action. We're going to say database, update document. This is a listing reference, and we need to update a lot of variables, a little bit more variables than here. So first, we now have a new highest bidder, okay? So we need to update the max bid, okay? So we're going to say max bid. First, we're going to say max bid is going to be to the bid that we entered. We outbid it. That's the max bid. That's the max we're willing to pay, okay? So we're going to say from variable, and we're going to go straight to the widget state input bid, okay? Next, we're going to update the user, right? We're going to set ourselves as the user that has the highest bid, okay? So we're going to come in here. This is going to be a max bid UID. And guess what? We're going to be setting ourselves as an authenticated user, okay? This is the user reference. So let's minimize this. Next, we need to update those fields as well, but we're going to need to update them a little bit differently, okay? So we need to update current bid here. This is going to be from variable, and we are going to be using that function again because we need to add a little bit value, right? We're going to say add value. So the base, the value that we're going to be using is the old max bid, okay? Because now that we've outbid it, we've outbidded the max bid. So we need to base our new bid, the current bid, of that max bid. So we're going to say from variable, and we're going to be using that old max bid, and we're going to add 0.5. And the same thing, well, almost the same thing we need to do for the min bid. Okay, so min bid is going to be also, we're going to add a couple of values. We're going to say add value, and this is going to be the max bid that was here, and we're going to add 1. Okay, basically double the increment. That's kind of how you want to do it because everything works in increments. Our increment is 0.5, By doubling it, we have 1. So now we set the max bid to our bid. We change the username to ourselves because now we're the highest bidder. We increase the current bid to be just a little bit higher than the old max bid. Remember, right now we are changing the old max bid. This is going to be afterwards. Once this executes, we're going to have a new max bid. And the min bid is going to be double the increment plus that old max bid. So this is going to have 0.5. This is going to have 1. All right? And the other thing that we can do is we can actually create a new record. Okay, so what we can do here is add an action, and we're going to come in here. We can create a new document. This is just like a history, right? This is this thing right here. This is this bids history here. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to say bids. Listing reference is this listing reference. And here we can just add all the fields. So what do we build? Bid amount. We're going to say from variable. Widget state, input bid, timestamp, let's say global properties, current time, UID, this is authenticated user, user reference. All right, so this is kind of a history for that specific listing, right? For some bookkeeping. I know eBay has that. This is a good feature. All right, so let's minimize that. That is kind of what we have. We don't have any errors. Looks good to me. So that is kind of what we have. And the other thing I want to do is I want to open and I want to refresh the page because there's going to be some things. What we want to do is we want to add an action and we want to say navigate to detail page. We want to refresh everything. We want it to be instant. And we also want to pass that parameter, right? Listing reference. So it still knows it, right? Because we're doing a refresh. So we need to make sure it still knows who we are dealing with. All right, so that was a lot. That was a lot of action stuff. We kind of have that there. We have one error, and that's because custom function need to be checked. So let's check that there. Let's run check for errors, and hopefully we are good to go. All right, no errors. Looks good to me. So I guess the real test is going to be if it's going to work the way we want it to work. All right, so let's go back. Take a look at the UI. Take a look at the data we have for the listings. So I have some random data here, okay? So let's run it, and let's see if it works, all right? So let's go ahead. Let's start a new test environment here. All right, so here's our app. We have 3 products here, and let's say we want to bid on this camera here. It's only $1. I think it's worth a little bit more than $1. So if I click on this, I have the current bid 1, minimum bid is 1.5. And if you look at the database, we see that the max bid is 1.5. And this is typically the setup you're going to have initially. Just when you list the product, you're going to have kind of this setup. And so that means I can bid just about anything and I'm going to outbid because there's really no such thing as a max bid. It's kind of a, it's not a real max bid, so to speak. So if we go in here and let's say I want to bid 20, okay? Or let's say I want to bid 50. It does not bid 50 for me. It just bids 2. Right? And 2.5. It just bids a little bit above the max bid. The max bid was 1.5, so it put 2. Now the minimum bid is 2.5. Okay? And if we come in here, max bid is 50. So somebody else needs to bid higher than 50. If they don't, they're not gonna win this out. Let's try another one. Let's go back, and now let's try product 3 here. 2.5. Let's say I want to bid 25 for it. Okay, so as you can see, it overbidded. There was another bid, which I think was 10, and now it's 10.5 to 11. Now I'm the highest bidder. Before I wasn't the highest bidder. Now I'm the highest bidder because we outbidded the other person to it. And it's also showing the message somewhere here. So let's say I try another product. Let's try this one right here. And let's say I put 50. I should be successful. What is the highest bid for this product? 1.5, right? So this is the default value, product 2. So it's going to show me a success message. Congrats, you're the highest bidder. You see that? It's right there. Now you can change how it looks. You can change the background. You can change the text and all that. So now let's go ahead and log in as somebody else, and let's see if we can go out and try to do the same thing here. So what I'm going to do is but before we do that, let's fix this page real quick because it's not showing the correct information here. So let's go ahead and fix it up. I'm going to come here, profile, and we're going to say set from variable, authenticated user, display name. This is going to be authenticated user email. And this is going to be our authentication. Firebase is just going to be logout. That's it. So now let's go back, refresh our test environment. All right, we're back. Let's come in here, and now it's displaying everything. I don't have a display name. I should have a display name. Why don't I have a display name? What is it? What's the name of that field? Let's fix it up real quick. Display underscore name. Let's add it right here. I want to have a display name. James. All right, so there's the display name, and there's the email and all that. So now, if we log out and we log in as somebody else, hopefully we'll be able to also participate in the bidding process as well. All right, so now I'm logged in as john@john.com. We have it here, and we can go ahead and participate in some of the auctions. So let's say the scammer right here. The minimum bid is 2.5. What is the maximum bid? Let's check our listings. This is product 1. The max bid is 50. So if we bid below that, we're not going to be the highest bidder, and this is the highest bidder. That is us, right? This PWN. We go into users. This is this account right here. This is james@james.com, okay? So it's 50. Let's see. Let's put 20, and let's scroll down so we can see the message. Sorry, you have been outbidded. And now it's 20.5, and that means it's bidding for me. I'm the highest bidder. It's automatically bidding for me. So if we go back to the database, I am still the highest bidder, right? This is product 1, this thing right here. But let's say we come to this product. Product 2, the max bid is 50. And let's go back here. And let's say this product, it's 50. Yeah, max bid is 50. Let's say we bid 55. What is the current bid going to be? The current bid is going to be 50.5. So let's scroll down so we can see the message. Okay, 55. Congrats, you're the highest bidder, 50.5. And the minimum bid now is 51. If we go back here, product 2, and we have max bid user ID, and this is another user now. And that way we know. And why do we want that max bid user ID? Well, this is a nice thing to have, because what we can do, guys, let's check this out. We can come to here, we can go to the detail page, and we can do something like this. We can take this row, duplicate it, and we can display something. We can say, maybe here, we can say, you are the highest bidder. And maybe you want to display it above everything else, maybe something like this. And you can also do a little bit of bottom padding, 20. You can have it in the container, and then you can have a conditional visibility. And you can say, well, we have a condition. First value is going to be our authenticated user. User reference is equal to, what is it going to be equal to? From variable, listing document, UI, max bid UID. If it's equal, we want to show this thing only if they're equal, only if it's the same, only if it's the user who is actually the highest bidder, who is logged in. We want to show this message. So let's come back. Let's come in here. Let's reload our test environment. All right. So let's say here, am I the highest bidder? I'm not. What about here? I am the highest bidder. Okay. Because I'm now logged in as john@john.com. If I come in here, I'm not the highest bidder. Let me log out and log in as myself. I should be the highest bidder on the other account. James@james.com. All right. How about now? I am the highest bidder. Look at that. And here I'm not the highest bidder, but I could be the highest bidder. Let me become the highest bidder. What is the max bid for the second listing? 55. So all I need to do is outbid 55. I can't bid 55. 55 is not gonna work, but 60 is gonna work. You're the highest bidder. You're the highest bidder. Okay. So now I'm the highest bidder. I'm winning all the auctions. Okay. Look at that. Look how nice it is. All right, so that's how you build an eBay type clone marketplace, right? By building this mechanism that takes into account auto bidding. This is really the heart of eBay. And there's lots of things that we can do, right? After you won, you're going to have, a screen. You might have maybe like items won, items watching. And so you can track those items. But all of that is very, very trivial to do. Yeah, that is simply something that you do on the workflow, right? So when you are bidding here, you're going to have another step that's going to add this item into the watch. If you're outbid, you're gonna change the status. You're gonna go from winning to outbid. That's all very, very easy to do. And so if there's interest, I may make another video and I will talk about those features. But right now, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity and show you how you can implement eBay's algorithm when it comes to kind of bidding and outbidding and how that works and displaying messages and stuff like that. So let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And don't forget, if you want to view and or clone this specific app, it's going to be available for you to do so on my Patreon page. So you're going to see a link to my Patreon page in the description. We have an awesome community there, lots of great people there. So it's a great way to join, to support the endeavors, to support the channel, to support what we're doing here. And also I'm going to have a live stream September 1st where I'm going to be talking about FlutterFlow, why I like FlutterFlow, things that you can do FlutterFlow. It's going to be a long stream where we're going to be doing Q&As and stuff like that. And so you definitely do not want to miss that. And for you to watch that stream, you need to be a member on Patreon. So definitely go out and join. It's a small price to pay for the amount of value you're getting. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.